The Gauteng Education Department says issues with Google Maps have worsened the challenges with its online admissions systems for grade 1 and 8 pupils for the 2023 academic year. This after several parents said they were already experiencing challenges with the system, which officially opened at 8 o'clock this morning. They say that they're unable to access school options. For more on the story, let's cross live to our colleague Mahlako Komane, who's been following this story. Mahlako, any resolution to the problems that the parents have been having with accessing the online system?
Yes, good morning to you indeed, Desiree. We are still here out in Mahlako, where, we did see the department, the GDE, had come out in their numbers to try and as well to assist parents in terms of accessing their system for the 2023 academic year, which is the 2023 admissions, the Gauteng online application. We did see earlier on when we were here that there were challenges in the system. I mean, the system went online at 8 o'clock. The first parent that was helped by the MEC only left here at about 9:30. So it took about an hour, 30 minutes just to get one parent through. You are quite correct in saying that there was that issue of the Google Maps, as it was. We were informed that there was an issue of, the Google Maps that parents weren't able to access. Or, as a result of the issue with Google Maps, parents were not able to access the schools because this would be able to give them the schools within their feeder, their feeder schools or the schools within their area in terms of their home address. But maybe let me pull in Steve Mabona from the Department of Education just to give us a breakdown of how things are. When we spoke earlier on, they were sitting in about 50,000 learners that had, parents that had successfully managed to access the system, and apply successfully and get those necessary SMS. But let me talk to Steve Mabona from the Department of Education. Mabona, can you just please tell us how are things going now? We did see, when you look at your parents were complaining. We were here, you admitted that there was an issue. Some are going as far as saying the system has crashed. Give us a proper update of what exactly is going on here.
No, we need to rectify that the system has never crashed. We need to start there. We experienced a challenge in the morning about the Google Maps, which we are in agreement with them to go 60,000 per minute in terms of your searches. Because when we study the system, we see that there's a pattern. How we move from 2,000, 3,000 all the past years. So this year we said, let's move it to 6,000 just to be on the safer side. We moved it to 6,000 and unfortunately we received more than that. So they then disabled us. We had to go back and negotiate that we need to increase to 20,000 at least. We have increased to 20,000. We are fine now. We have sorted that. Parents can see the schools. We are cruising now. As you can see in the hall, queues are diminishing as the day goes by. Yes, we must acknowledge we started on a bumpy ride and also acknowledge that we need to apologize to parents, guardians, everyone that was affected or inconvenienced in the morning. We sincerely apologize for that. But from now, we are moving, we are cruising. If we have a challenge, we can go through our call center, call there 0800 000 789. They will be in a position to assist you if you are struggling with the system. But for now, we are cruising.
How many have you registered so far, your last update?
Over 100,000 applications were processed, but when you look at the numbers of applicants, we are sitting at about over 50,000. Because you will understand that a parent can apply to more than one school. So when you talk applications, you're talking the entire process of applications, at this entirety. But we are quite convinced that moving forward, we are moving well. Just want to encourage parents that we have an application process which starts today. It will end on the 19th of August. So sometimes we understand the anxiety and the rushing, but we still have the entire month to finish this process.
Talking about anxiety, the rush, let's talk about your high pressure schools. What is the picture looking like there? I know you have those statistics.
Interestingly so, huge numbers there, as you might know, that high pressure schools, actually they are the ones that create problems for us because of the lack of capacity or the lack of space that we can accommodate the numbers that we receive. You know that a high pressure school will receive 1,000 applications and they have only 120, capacity. Some they have just 200. So, but we've increased the number of classrooms. I mean, over 1,500 classrooms that were built by schools. Remember, we transfer money to SGBs working with the school to say build more classes. Where they are in a position to build, we will continue to give them money. But we have 12 new brick and mortar schools that are still under construction in Gauteng. They should be completed in due course. But we'll continue to enhance our infrastructure, be it giving them mobile units, those that might be overcrowded, because that's an anticipation. Gauteng, you expect over 50,000 more applications that will come yearly. So the interest is on Gauteng, and we cannot really say people must not be in the classroom.
I know previously what used to happen is that when you had a high pressure school, once the school is full in terms of what they can verify successfully there and then, are we having that this year? Will schools continue to just accept applications irrespective of the fact that we know some schools at one point would be full within 30 minutes? What does the system offer us this year?
No, remember last year we did that. We blocked schools and we took a slack from parents because we do surveys after this thing. They said to us, no, two things. The survey said the two-phase approach is not working for us. We have done away with it. We are listening government. The other one was saying, don't block schools. We said, but we are trying to save you. Don't want to create unnecessary expectations and all. They said, no. We are the ones that are applying. Give us an opportunity to apply. We might get the school. So no school will be closed. All schools will be open, even if they receive huge numbers. But you know that the placement criteria will then be invoked to say, home address, you are prioritized.
Let's talk about that. I mean, we have personally had parents, that I've interacted with and that we've interacted with that speak to the criteria. Let's speak about the criteria. We know there's that 5-kilometer radius, but when it comes down to basics, are you able to unpack maybe what this means for parents? What is the actual final selection criteria? We know it's no longer about time. What is the department doing? Let's manage those expectations.
Well, we need to indicate that it's not first come, first serve. The criteria is quite clear. And the 5-kilometer radius, it's done. That one was done away with. When we introduced feeder zones, we were saying we are doing away with 5-kilometer radius. Because a feeder zone of a school, it's broadened by size to say in this township, in this suburb, how many households are we in a position to accommodate. Then a feeder zone will then be about how many households that the school can accommodate. So when they say home within feeder zone, it means all those homes that are within that feeder zone of a school, which has been approved by a school. If you remember, when we were doing the feeder zone process, we gave the process to the school to say, give us your area that you can cover in terms of a feeder zone. It was approved by SGBs, they brought to us. So you work within that. Home within feeder zone, it's a priority. Secondly, a sibling or a previous school. Because if you have a sibling, we're saying, let's accommodate the sibling in that school. But previous school, that's where you see in the suburbs that there's learners in the primary school, they do English and Afrikaans. You can't say that child must go back to the township because you don't have English and Afrikaans. You would have English and probably isiZulu, Ndebele, Xhosa, all other languages and then Afrikaans as an additional language. So by that, you will then be saying, where must you take that child? So we'll accommodate in the previous school. Thirdly, it's work address. If you work closer to the school, you might be fortunate enough to get space if the home and the second category did not deplete the spaces. The fourth one would be within 30-kilometer radius. If you are within 30-kilometer radius and there's still space in that school and you have applied to, we can accommodate you. if you are beyond 30-kilometer radius and the space in the school, we can still accommodate you. So that has done away with this thing of gatekeeping to say you stay far, you cannot access the school. Constitutional Court said the department must be the final arbiter to say a school is full or not. So we are in charge there, and they will be in a position to assist parents to say you can access the school. That's where we will transform our schools.
Okay, you've given us those criteria, you've given us feeder zone, you've given us 30-kilometer radius, you've given us a language of instruction, you've also given us the issue of sibling. At one point, something must inform if or how a child is placed in the school. I am a parent, I am applying, I live 1.5 kilometers away from the school. My colleague, they lives a kilometer away from the school. What criteria? You said first come, first serve basis has been done away with. What is the new criteria? There must be that ultimate criteria that determines whether a child is going to be placed in a school or not. Which one is it?
It's home within a feeder zone. The closer you are to the school, the chances of you are higher for you to be prioritized. That's the criteria. The more you are adrift from the school, you might not access that school. That's how it works. That's why I said to you, the 5-kilometer radius, it doesn't apply at all. Because the school might be full by people who are within 1 kilometer. I mean, you know, there are schools that within 1.9 kilometers is full, and the parent on 2 kilometers will say, but it's unfair. I mean, I stay closer to the school. But we say there are parents who are in front of you who live closer to the school. So what must we do with them? So that's how we manage the process of placement, and we'll expand it at a later stage.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mabona. You heard that, Desiree. That was Mr. Steve Mabona just telling us about, the placement of learners here in Gauteng. That critical issue of, that ever so critical issue of what exactly is the criteria here. What benchmark are they using to ensure that, parent A, B, and C, get space into the school, or they are not getting space into the school. But definitely, it's almost a month of this applications for this process are closing on the 19th of August this year, at midnight on the 19th of August. So parents in Gauteng or parents wishing to access education within the Gauteng education system have until the 19th of August 2022 rather, to apply for admission for either grade 1 or grade 8 at the school of their choice, or the school within the so-called feeder zone.